Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another podcast, not a video, but a podcast. If I give a shout out to all my St. Lucia Massive out there, it would be podcast episode 3, St. Lucia. Can't wait to be there in a couple months. For the first time in 20 years. Crazy. And to my Guyanese people out there, episode 3. Okay, episode 3. But I've been living in America now for 20 years. So it's episode 3. Gotta enunciate. So anyway, so today's episode or today's podcast is near and dear to me. It is on emotional intelligence, and the claim among a lot of people who are in the know is that the acronym for emotional intelligence is EQ, and the acronym for intelligence quotient is IQ. Okay, so a lot of people who are in the know are saying that EQ is actually more important than IQ. Can you believe it? Have you heard that? No. So I just learned this. You know, I started working in mental health and drug detox, and for the new employees that start in the company, they had a luncheon with the CEO of the company. So this guy is big and huge, you know, he's a multi-millionaire and stuff. He owns this company that I work for as a nurse. And I stepped up to him and I walked to him and I said, "Hey, Mr. CEO, man," because that's what I called him. Not really. So I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, man, what is the key to success?" Straight up. I am not lying to you guys. I'm all about honesty. I said, "What is the key to success? How do I get to where you're at? How do I tell me something that I don't know or the masses probably don't know? Why are you so successful? What's the difference between you and a lot of people?" And he said, among a lot of other things, before he asked, "Who the hell are you?" he said, it's emotional intelligence. Okay, what is emotional intelligence? Well, emotional intelligence refers to the ability, and I am reading right now. Okay, I'm gonna put relevant links in the description. But emotional intelligence refers to the ability to identify and manage one's own emotions as well as the emotions of others. Okay, so think about that for a second. All right, I'll give you a second. What did he just say? What? Yes, and manage your own emotions and the emotions of others. Emotional intelligence is generally said to include at least 3 skills: emotional awareness, or the ability to identify and name one's own emotions, the ability to harness those emotions and apply them to tasks that, like thinking and problem solving, and the ability to manage emotions, which include both regulating one's own emotions when necessary and helping others to do the same. Let me put it to you this way. I know some people are lucky and some people are not lucky, okay? But don't dwell too much on luck, okay? You can control your own destiny. You have more control of your life than you think you do. And I want to purport to you guys that there's a possibility that you can have more success in whatever it is you want to do if you work on your emotional intelligence. Now, in a lot of cases, people's IQ is dictated by sort of the way you were born. You know, some people are born to just be more studious than others. But in the case of emotional intelligence, almost anyone can increase their emotional intelligence. And it's done by knowledge, research, reading, and watching videos like YouTube videos. Okay, so So it is referred to as EQ. Okay, so I'm going to delve a little bit more into it. Okay, so emotional intelligence is commonly defined by 4 attributes, and I'll go through those 4 and expounds a little bit on that. Self-management. Number 1 is self-management. Your ability to control impulsive feelings and behaviors, manage your emotions in healthy ways, take initiative, follow through on commitments, and adapt to changing circumstances. I want to purport to you guys that just because, and I know the world likes to, just adjusting my camera here. I know the world likes to focus on IQ, okay? Because it's very much a measurable way of it's very much a measurable way of testing the intelligence of someone. EQ is very hard to test, at least in the world as a structure right now. So I'm not trying to say IQ is invaluable, but I'll tell you something right now. How many people do you know that have high IQ and are highly unsuccessful? And when I say success, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about just in happiness, okay? Because at the end goal, beyond money, everything else is happiness, okay? People want to earn a lot of money because they think it's going to make them happy. So happiness is the end goal. So when I say success, I'm talking about happiness here, okay? So how many people do you know that have high IQ and are not very happy, you know? People that, for instance, just on an example, they went to college and earned a degree that they thought that they wanted when they were young, only to find out that it's not what they want to do for a living. So now you're stuck with thousands and perhaps hundreds of thousands of dollars worth in student loans, and you realize that what you went to college for, you don't even want to do. So they're stuck working at McDonald's and by the way, people need to have a job, so I'm not knocking working at McDonald's, but I'm just saying, if you're not happy working at McDonald's, remember, happiness is the key here. Then you're not happy, you're not being successful, okay? If you want to work at McDonald's and you're working there, good on you, okay? Nobody needs to be eating McDonald's though, that's for sure. Okay, so self-management, okay? So a lot of people, they struggle with managing themselves because they learn all these things in college about, theories and ideas and things of that nature, but they don't learn how to manage themselves, And I was one of those people that struggled with self-management. Never kept a schedule, never was on time for work when I was younger, lost very, very great jobs that I was pursuing. Was told about it too at the time, was told to be careful, to listen, but young and stupid, low EQ, did not listen, lost great opportunities that I had. And it took me a long time to figure certain things out. And one of those things I figured out was emotional intelligence. I think when you combine concepts and ideas into categories, it's easier for me, and I'm sure a lot of people out there, to understand. And when you encapsulate a certain level of intelligence, which called EQ, with self-management, then I was able to understand it better, okay? And then sort of adapt it into my life. So control your impulsive feelings. You're angry, you're jealous, you're, whatever it is you're feeling, your sadness, your nervousness. Be able to identify with a word your emotions, and then look into ways to control those emotions, okay? You don't want to go to work, whatever the case is. Let's say you're doing something as a job, you don't want to go to work. Figure out why you don't want to go to work. Think about why. Why don't I want to go to work? Once you can identify why you don't want to go to work, think about what you can do to motivate yourself to go to work. Balance it out. Think about what the cost and benefit is. Write down on a piece of paper what the cost and the benefit is. What's the cost of you not going to work, and what's the benefit of you not going to work, and weigh the two. So manage yourself. Why should I be on time for work? What kind of message does that send to my boss or my coworkers? Should I keep a schedule? What does that do for my life? Think about those things, okay? Self-awareness. That's number 2 on the emotional intelligence list here. You recognize your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior. You know your strengths and weaknesses and have self-confidence. So if I know my strengths and weaknesses, okay, it's still a way. I still have to weigh cost versus benefit. Okay, so there's certain things that you may be strong at, but it's sort of a black hole. It's not going anywhere. So that doesn't mean you should massage that. But if you have a strength, something that you're good at, that can lead you to success, aka happiness, then massage that, okay, and sort of push that and encourage that within yourself. And if you have certain behaviors that are not beneficial towards success, aka happiness, then stop doing it, okay? Take it out of your life slowly but surely, or do it cold turkey, however you want to do it, okay? So I'll give an example of what I'm talking about here. If you like to smoke, okay, and most people consider smoking a bad habit, okay? If you like to smoke and you work in a oxygen tank factory, then smoking is a real weakness, isn't it? You don't want to be smoking there. Or maybe you do. Just recognize your weaknesses and weigh them. Don't just do things on instinct just because you want to do them. That's self-awareness. Cost versus benefit. Okay, the benefit is happiness. Okay, so social awareness. That's number 3 on the emotional intelligence list here on this website, helpguide.org. You have empathy. You can understand the emotions, needs, and concerns of other people, pick up on emotional cues, feel comfortable socially, and recognize the power dynamics in a group or organization. So, empathy. Okay, so some people are more natural, or empathy comes more easily to some people. People can be born psychotic. People can become sociopaths, and empathy is hard for them to have. They really don't care about anybody else other than themselves. But if it makes you unhappy to lack empathy, then maybe learn some empathy, okay? Because you're trying to be successful. So understand emotional cues of others. Like, I've been obsessing over this YouTube. Because I'm trying to get to a goal here, okay? And I'm trying to be successful. And as a result, my social life is sort of suffering slightly. So what I try to do to balance that out is I will ask people around me, am I talking too much about certain things? Am I spending enough time with you? Am I paying enough attention to you? Because I want to increase my social awareness. I don't want it all to just be about me, okay? Pay attention to other people, pay attention to how they're feeling, ask them how they're feeling, and actually make eye contact, be vested in other people. And that will allow you to create bonds and create real meaningful relationships that will be beneficial to them and you. So that ties right into number 4, relationship management. You know how to develop and maintain good relationships, communicate clearly, inspire and influence others, work well in a team, and manage conflict. So your team is tumultuous, your friendship base is tumultuous. You be that guiding light to sort of guide everyone. Make a joke or two when things are a little tense, or overly tense, I should say. Sometimes things need to be tense to solve issues, but if things are overly tense, you may want to be the person to come in and sort of crack a joke or two, lighten the mood a little bit, do something social, go bowling, go to the beach with your friends or something like that if you're in the islands. So just a little idea, and I will put once again. I'll put links in the description. So why do we need feeling words? Okay, so you almost everybody understands some of the names for certain emotions like anger, fear, sadness, disgust, surprise, anticipation, trust, and joy. There's a reason why the emotions that you feel, they have names for them, okay? Because when you encapsulate things into categories, it makes them easier to understand and easier to convey to other people, which removes frustration, okay? Because I know for one, if I can't, and stop, tell me if this applies to you. I know if I'm unable to express what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking to other people, it frustrates me. And if it frustrates me, I get angry. Which anger is sometimes very useful, but is counterproductive for certain goals you're trying to get to. So use words to describe emotions to help us identify and communicate the various components of a feeling. Okay, so feeling words may not entirely reflect the depth and breadth of our inner worlds, but they are the best tools we have for harnessing our feelings, understanding them, and sharing them with others. So if you have trouble and you can't identify exactly what you're feeling and need the right word to encapsulate it, you may want to figure out, study emotions, study what it means to be angry, what it means to be jealous, what it means to be envious, and study what some of those emotions, how they make you feel, and see if it sounds like what you're currently feeling, and communicate that. Be honest with people. Say, if your friend or whoever it is sort of doing something that you want to be doing, and you're having a lack of success doing it, or this person is having more success currently than you think you are, maybe you just admit that. Say, hey, look, I really, I'm feeling a little bit jealous. And even if you don't admit that to them, just admit it to yourself. Say, hey, I'm feeling a little jealous. Let me figure out how to handle this. It's not on you, it's on me. Okay, so maybe I need some space from you for a while to get my thoughts together, get my life back on track, whatever the case is. So identify your emotions and so on. But if you lash out on that person out of jealousy and envy, they may recognize that, and now you've ruined your friendship. Okay, because you can't admit you're jealous, so you express anger in other ways. You tell the person that they're not really that good, or they're going to have bad luck in the future, and you sort of are overly I don't know. You're just overly. You're trying to bring them down emotionally. But recognize that maybe the reason you're doing it is out of jealousy or whatever the case is. So try to control that emotion by just verbally saying that to the person, or just say it to yourself and just say, hey, look, let me just avoid the situation. You need some space or whatever the case is. And maybe you'll be able to save that friendship or that relationship, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a coworker, whatever. God forbid, a parent. So whatever the case is. Because there are parents who get jealous of their children. And that's one of the most sad situations I've ever come across. Because what do you do with that? You know what I'm saying? People's ego are just out of control at times. So, unfortunately. So, if you're a parent out there, stop being jealous of your kid. If your kid is doing something that you would have liked to be doing, just encourage them and recognize that you did have a hand to play in that, because hopefully you helped raise that child and you did contribute some DNA. So, and you may benefit if that child is successful as well in happiness. So a list of feeling words can be the perfect resource when you can't identify exactly what you are feeling and I need the right word to encapsulate it. I think I might have said that already. You want to communicate with someone verbally or in writing that you're feeling what you're feeling. You are telling a story, writing a book, poem, play, blog, or song, and need just the right word. You want to improve your emotional intelligence to better understand yourself and others. Understand that communication is why humans are not in caves anymore. Okay, understand that The difference between us and the other animals in the animal kingdom is this thing right here. Communication. This thing right here. Communication. Okay? The brain, the mouth, and people use hand signals and things like that. Just communication in general is the difference between us and other creatures. We communicate better. And one of the elements of communication is recognizing your own emotions, recognizing and being able to identify them and communicate them within yourself. Okay, so going back to my boss at that job, he sent me a book for free within the network of my job that I'm going to put the link in the description. That was very profound in my life. Okay, I like using that word, profound. And that book is Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Okay, the author, it's by Gene Graves and Travis Bradbury. Okay, you can find it on Amazon, Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Don't worry, it's not an affiliate link. I'm certainly not big enough for that with my 50, 60 views per video that I get. But it's on Amazon. You can purchase it for yourself. Please read the book. Please pay attention to it and apply some of those lessons to yourself. That book certainly helps you build self-awareness. It certainly helps you build emotional intelligence. It gives you a test to see how self-aware you are. And it was so impactful on me that when I and my wife made this channel, we incorporated it into our platform to the point where our business email for this channel is selfawarethoughts@gmail.com. So that's how huge it was for us. And it changed our lives. It helped bring us together. And it helped me manage myself, manage my emotions, manage my relationships. And it's turned my life around completely. And it's been one of the biggest contributing factors towards my success. And my success is happiness. I'm very, very happy right now. And I'd like to pass that on. I'd like to, anybody who's willing to listen, anybody who's willing to learn the same way my boss thankfully passed that book on to me and the knowledge of it, I'd like to pass it on to other people. So please increase your emotional intelligence. Understand the value of emotional intelligence. Understand things like fear, anger, jealousy, anticipation, surprise. You know, when people can't identify their emotions or they can't express it, what they do, they express anger. Okay? And you see them all the time. You see people who are quick to snap and quick to snap at others because they've massaged that behavior for so long, it's become part of them. It can be solved by simply saying what you feel to someone. When I deal with my patients, some of them, they're so trapped in their own world of despair and the void that they don't sometimes recognize that there's other people around them. Okay, and other people feel similar things that they feel. So what I do is to kind of snap them back. I remind them that I'm human as well, and other people around are as human, and it tends to work. So they'll come up to me and they'll make demands about medications that they want and they need to have it now and so on. And I'll say to them, I say, hey, look, I want you to give me a second. Let me contact the doctor. Right now, you're really frustrating me and you're making me nervous and you're giving me anxiety. And I have to be able to have a second here to communicate. Please have a seat. And I find that when I talk to them like that, they're like, oh, okay, let me go have a seat. Oh, you're human too? But whereas the other way I could interact with them is I could go, why don't you get the hell away from the nurse's station? I don't want to deal with your crap right now. What do you think that's going to do when you talk to them like that? Do you think they're going to be, oh, okay, I'm sorry? No, they're going to react angrily as well because they don't even understand their own emotions, let alone yours. So communicate your emotions to people. Let your ego go. Stop being so afraid to tell people when you're sad, when you're nervous, when you're feeling different things. Don't just express everything in anger. Break it down to that inner child. You have an inner child in here that wants to protect himself with anger. Okay? I know when I'm ashamed, like when I was a kid growing up, I always wanted to speak. I always liked speaking. And when they would call my name in class, and those of you who may be listening to the podcast who went to school with me in St. Lucia, Some of you may remember this. I would get up and speak in class, and I would stutter. And then everybody would laugh, and I would be ashamed. I was really ashamed of myself. So what I would do is I would get angry, and then later on in school, I would take it out on that person. I get into a physical fight with them, or whatever the case is. If I took a second and stopped and let my ego go and recognize that, first of all, from their perspective, that is funny. Okay, so try to see things from other people's perspective. Okay, and laugh along with them. That actually is pretty funny, because if you were in their shoes, you'd be laughing too if you heard somebody stuttering like that. Of course, we can debate whether or not you should do it, but I'm just saying you would want to laugh at the very least. So first of all, put yourself in their shoes. But another solution to that is you could go to them and say, hey, look, I know that was funny, and I agree that it was funny, but you guys laughing at me is very embarrassing and makes me not want to do this anymore. Could you guys give me a chance to get better at this and stop laughing so much and maybe listen? They may still laugh anyway, but at the very least you feel better because you took that off your chest. And now they realize how they've offended you. Sometimes people do offensive things to others and they have no clue. And you think they should know, or you expect them to know, and they don't know at all. Okay, the only way for people to know, or for you to know for sure if someone knows how you're feeling, is to effectively communicate that by saying it, encompassing a word. Okay, instead of getting angry at somebody when they've betrayed your trust, you can get angry, of course, but say to them, hey, look, you betrayed my trust, and now I can't be around you anymore. Just be straight up. Just tell people straight up. Just be honest. Honesty will take you a long way. It will take things off your chest. And I can only reference my life for the most part, because my life is certainly it is what it is. But so bear with me here. But I had a coworker who, one of the nurses, who messed up count one time, and she was sort of nonchalant about it. And if you're in nursing, or you understand how nursing works, if you lose control medications and narcotics, that could mean your nursing license. So she was laughing and nonchalant about it. I said, look, you're really frustrating me. You're making me upset, and you're making me nervous, and you give me anxiety, because I don't want to lose my job. I have bills to pay. Okay, I got to be able to function in life, and I need my job. I need my nursing license. And she snapped right out of it. She stopped laughing and giggling, and then she helped me look for this medication, and we found it. Okay, so I could have gotten angry with her and kept it to myself and go complain to the boss, or I could have handled it in that situation and solved the issue. And now now she respects me. Okay, you want to build respect with people. So if people respect you, they'll be loyal to you. Okay, if people don't respect you, so we'll talk about how to build respect in a future podcast and things of that nature. But I thank everybody for tuning in, whilst I be long-winded on Just a Thought podcast episode 3, or is it episode 3 or episode 3? All right, guys. Thank you. Please tune in for the next one. I'm going to try to drop these periodically once a week. I haven't locked down a time yet because my schedule is crazy. But all right. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and share the video for more. Big up.